Hello, this is Gabriel and Icon of the Comfit Global Consulting for Medical, Pharmaceutical, and Innovative Technology, the Charity Medical Foundation for Global Innovation and Consultations. It is an avenue that I have established most recently to change the scope of how the business is going with in synchronizations with the modern change and the world demand and change, civilizations and technology advancement. Buenos dias to all my fellow senor and senora and senoritas. It's Haisa Gabriel Decon of the Comfit Global Consulting. Hello, guten Morgen, guten Tag, guten Nacht to some people around the world. Bienvenido to all my listeners. Welcome, bienvenue. Bonsoir, bonjour à tous mes auditeurs à travers le monde, pour ceux qui arriveront à trouver cette vidéo online à YouTube. Este Gabriel of the Charity Medical Foundations. I am here to emphasize the need of peace. Saying so, I would like to say shalom and shalom. In the name of the Almighty Adonai Elohim, YHWH, and Almighty Adonai Yeshua HaMashiach. For the new year, this is my 16 presentations and my first for this new year, 2015. I'm starting with peace and prosperity for everyone around the world. I have a few messages for the world today that was given to me directly from my dear friend, my close friend that I can call the God who created all of us. People might have known me in the past, but I would like to assure people that I'm a different man. I can heal people. I can predict what can happen. Those are only the symptom of something more bigger that God has for me in the future. I say those are only the symptom of something bigger of what God has reserved for me in the future. The suffering that people are adjudicating as a karma, whatever they call it, are actually good in the long run. It is part of the deal. Alright? For those who say that they believe in God. Now, I will be talking about intellectual design. Intellectual design. That will be the title of this presentation today. I will cover from creations to evolution within. I'll talk about the spiritual world, the physical world. I will talk about the emotional, the joy and happiness and how it can be found by people. I will illustrate the mechanism, the structural mechanism that direct our life from the spiritual realm into this realm. I will talk about peace. I will talk about the truth about me. Again, a little bit from day to destiny, the true story of Gabriel Dyken. I will start from there. In this life, in order to advance, you have to talk about the past as a reference to delve the present and to explore the future. You have to review the past, delve the present, and explore the future. That will allow you to have a more better prospections through your journey into this earth. It is the reason why I would like to say I am a forgiving person. The law of harvest. In order for you to reap anything, you have to sow something. It is the law of causality. The law of causality, it is the principle of origination. There is nothing that can be made from nothing. Anything have to be made from something. That's the law of causality. Something have to cause something to happen. All right, even in evolutions, they use that, but in a different kind of way. It is very, very straightforward and clear. So what I'm mentioning here is that people who have offended me in this new year, they are all forgiven. From leaders of nations to the simplistic individual out there in a community, they are all forgiven. I know who they are, and I pray for them, and I hope that the balance that God gonna make on them should not be too heavy, and that it should be a peace so that God can forgive them, because some of them do not want to accept to ask for forgiveness about this because they believe that they're right. That's what was told by the Holy Spirit. You have to know that the Holy Spirit is part of God, is the Spirit of God. Jesus Christ is God in flesh, that presented himself in flesh. And now, after death, resurrections, he have a new form of body, half human, half supernal being. So he can relate well to your pain and also communicate as well with the divine being. God needed someone like that because God is spiritual. God cannot function where there is sickness of the spirit. He's divine, he's holy, he's pure. He cannot. Even if he loves people, he will distance himself. It's very clear. Let's see that you're sick. You have a disease that is contagious, right? What happened? People will be advised not to come close to you, because if they come close to you, they will have some contaminations, and they'll also in turn get sick. It's the same thing with your spiritual structure, your body, your soul. Your spiritual structure, when you start committing sins, you start doing stuff, you're making your spirit sick. And when you're making your spirit sick, what happens is that God will distance himself away from you. And when he distances himself away from you, he will be present, but he will not be with you. There's a big difference. God is present, but is not with you. Okay, so when people say God is with all of us, he's present, with us, but he's not acting directly, so you don't feel his presence right away when you make a prayer, when you do a prayer, or when you do something that you need him, compared to the person who does truly have a purity in his spirit. It's the same thing, because if he get in contact with people who have some spiritual sickness and do not want to cure that, and spiritual sickness comes from the deed that are not good, like wanting other people to fall down, wanting other people to be sick, having haterism in your heart, having revenge in your heart, lack of love, lack of compassion, anger in your heart. Those kind of stuff are like disease for the spirit. Therefore, he will distance himself to maintain his purity and divinity. Now, the point is this: I have to forgive people, because most of them, they do not know what they're doing. They know not what they're doing. They think they do. Everybody does. But in time, they realize that, oh, what we have done to that guy, or what I have done was not right. From history to present, it has always been that way. Okay? So when you reach a certain level of maturity, you start understanding a lot of stuff in life. I am here today, living into this place, peaceful place, I believe, well clean, well organized, good air, better perfume around, and because that's who I am. So seed, if you sow good, you reap good. If you plant love, you harvest good compassion from people. People who continue evil way will end up with evil. It is very simple. It is a law of balance and causality and reaction and equilibrium. It is what makes the universe function as you see. In season, in anything. Therefore, I would like to say this: I am not trying to revive the past, but I have to review the past so that people understand where I'm going with this. After my graduation in 2000, June of 2000, in Cameroon, graduation from high school, I was about 21 years old, because our high school is 3 more years advanced, because we talk, depending on how the system is, we have 3 more years ahead of many other institutions around the world. So we also delve some courses, university courses, that correspond to first or second year college courses. So that's the reason why. So the mean of graduation by age here is about 18, but over there is at 21 normally, because we have those extra courses and stuff. So after that, I went to university there in a city in which I was born. That was the University of Douala. And while I was in school, opportunity showed up for me to come in the United States. Like everybody, people say, why coming here when they're suffering? America didn't know suffering. America was fine. America is still fine. You are going into a situation where God is testing your faith. And anything that you can bring back is hecklism, jealousy, envy. When God is testing you, God don't only test individual, He tests nations. Okay, that's the way He do stuff. So I have opportunity to come in the United States and have a permanent residency that will allow me to go to school as well as work. You tell me, I was 21 at the time, 22 at the time. I think 1 year, I was already 1 year going to university there. It came up. Okay, so you there, you are in Africa, in a country that do not have war, peace, but you have a possibility of going in the greatest nation in the world and study and become better so that you can help the world, including where you left. All right, you tell me who will not take that chance, that opportunity. All right. So the story that they're telling you that I left over there, I didn't graduate, whatever it was, is not true. All right, it's not even close to be true. First of all, they are completely different programs. Okay, course wise, yes, it can be transferred if you go to translation agencies. It can be made, but they are different courses. They are different programs, different system, academic system. Until today, I don't know the reason why the president of Cameroon actually did what they have done, profiling my name and sending a file, a secret file, from the Secret Service of Cameroon to the Secret Service here in the United States. That went into the Pentagon, to all the sheriff departments and the White House at the time. Like I say, I'm not here to bring the past. It is all forgiving. I forgot, forgiving anyone, but I need to review this so that you know where I'm going in the future. Everything is forgiving. I see him today. I'll talk about that later. So the point is, when I came here, the profile was already sent before I came here, and the profile have a lot of stuff that have to do with terrorism, that have to do with hecklism against America, that have to do with any evil thing that you can imagine they can put on somebody profile. All right, this is a kid who spent all his time suffering, came from nowhere, have his education made up, and God opened a path for him. Out of many students of his generation, out of many students of my generation, I was the first that God picked out of that way to come here. You ask them, they'll tell you. Some of them, they were jealous of that, but some of them are here today. They understand that it was not, God have a purpose for every single person. Okay, they saw that it's not so good as they think. All right, so that's what it is. After that generation, I was picked out and sent here. I was 22. I was 23. So now that was 2 years after. So I left the university there because so I can travel here. Left my life. Yeah, came here at the age of 23. So that profile was here. I've never been involved in any movement. Never been involved in nothing. Never been involved in. I was a hardworking entrepreneur back home. I can tell you, I owned a small business back home before I even came here when I was in university. I met where my business was located. It was in the heart of the city, where I meet all the rich men, the very intellectual men. I was in the center. All right. Every single person coming from overseas, they were there. I'll see them every single day because that's what I was doing. Wake up in the morning, do that, go to school, come back there, go to business club to see them, do the inventory and see what the guy have done and see if I can pay him and see how give me all the inventory, all this stuff. I had to worry about the courses and stuff like that. And after that, I have to go meet the friend to see how the courses were made, so it can be reviewed and see how document can be reported back at the university. I was immensely busy, and even more busy when the paperwork came to travel here because I didn't have time, because I have to travel to meet people and find connection to see how things can go. And at the same time, I have a father who was in the hospital. It was very tricky mess. So somebody sit there in his office. He have power. He look up the future, the spiritual future. He's hungry. He's mad. You know where how the kid is going through. Going in a land that I don't even know. I have nobody here. Coming in a land that you don't know, you have no clue. Alright? So I'm coming here with that kind of profile. Leading me to terrorism, leading me to government boycottings and manipulation of money and money laundering. All of this stuff is in that profile. So that's me coming here with that. An innocent, even more than innocent, because sometimes you can be innocent knowing exactly what's going on, but when you're innocent not knowing what's going on, you exponentially innocent. It's a big difference, my friend. So I'm here. After a couple of suffering, I went to Cincinnati State so that I can transition and study the system, how the academic system work here. I did about a year and a half there, and I was called the spirit to serve in the military, so that for some reason I was 25 at the time. So I arrived here at age of 23. 2 years later, I am in the military, going to the military. In the military, for some reason, it seems that they have that profile. At the time of when I passed all the qualification exam for the Air Force, when it was time now to get all my documentations in the system, the guy who was in front of me, he refused to get my Cincinnati State academic record as well as my University of Douala record. He refused to take it. I just don't know why, but he did refuse. He said he gonna take the high school instead of taking ours. So the point is, I was brand new in the nation, 2 years, and there were people behind me, and I didn't quite know exactly. I know something was off with this, okay, but I wanted to join. I didn't want to have a bad impression. So, but I know something was off. What the heck is this? So I believe that they were giving us, instruction not to do that. They're refusing my academic record. Something, something that I can understand. I mean, both of them. Both of them, the University of Douala was already translated in English as well. Since United States is in English, of course. So what's the problem? You believe that the person in front of you don't have that kind of ability because they told you, you read the profile that was sent here. I didn't know what was going on. So I joined the military with the lowest rank because they refused to talk my academic record. So this started a long time ago, my friend. I said to people not to rush into conclusion. You have to talk to me. I am still alive. I have the truth. Stop your talking out there because it's not true. Now, I am in the military with the lowest rank. Seems like a plan that they made. Now, I realized something was wrong. So there is an option there to rectify records if something went wrong. I didn't know that. So I was talking to one of the officer, and he said to me, "No, there is offices here that handle those kind of situations." So I went there and presented the same thing to an officer, and they were very stunned. They said to me, I can understand that he can refuse those in Douala, but not since United States. What the heck is this? I have family members that go there. And you have taken some very, almost more than a year and a half and very heavy courses like this. What the heck, So she rectified that. But for some reason, she didn't, maybe she sent that to be rectified in the record, but it was not. So when you look in there, you only see high school. Something I didn't know. So when people plan to destroy you, they plan to destroy you from the beginning. And things start adding up. People judge me based on the information that they got. But they were missing informations. Because it was a plan from the beginning to undermine me. Today, when I went to UC, when I returned from the service, I went to UC so that I can upgrade, improve myself. You cannot be in a place where you're supposed to progress and people are there try to say to you, you cannot progress. All right? You don't have to live like people in order for people to be like you, to like you. You just have to be who you are. But who you are doesn't mean that it must be like others. Who you are can be something different from everybody. And people just have to accept it. I am not a person who like too much parties that don't have no importance in my life. I like party that can make me progress. And what kind of thing that will last for long. All right. So the point is, now that I was in the Air Force, I was in a civil engineering where you have a interdisciplinary training. What people don't know is that they also teach us environmental safety. It is the first thing everybody have to do in a working environment. You have to check for the chemicals, because with chemicals you cannot work in that environment. Environmental exposure to chemicals. We study all kind. That's the first thing to do when you come, to make sure that the place is safe. When I talk about place safe, chemicals. Today people gonna say he changed completely. I didn't change none. I pick up the information from it to bring up to what I want to do, to what I believe it is my aspirations. Again, wrong information you have. I was trained in diverse interdisciplinary programs that confer into civil engineering, that include even electrical system, all this stuff. Airfield landing system, for the airport. There is nothing like when people say the real veterans or the real soldiers, because those were the ones who have the gun outside. Everybody was at risk when you go into war, into a war zones. So you didn't say this is the real combat veterans. There's no such thing like that, because there are people who were sitting in the desk doing the operational work and who got killed by missile or by a launch missiles, and they got killed. You're not going to sit there and say because he was not outside the gate, he was not a real combat veteran. I have nothing to do with that. I was in the operations of how to run the base, or how to run every single base. We were part of those teams to make sure that the base are running efficiently for everyone, those who go out and those who are in, officer as enlisted. I was a part of the expeditionary force. I was a core part of the core engineer there. So protected when we do our work. All right? It does not mean that you better than others, because at the end we all have to take our boot off, take our thing off, and do similar work, because that's the combat zone. Even if you out or not out. There was a party that we have all the general who were there, and it was a party when the troop that sees out Saddam Hussein and his son and stuff like that, they came in for celebration of this stuff. So they have to do the celebration stuff, and and they said, we are, somebody asked a question to say that those who go out are the real combat veteran, and the general said no, it doesn't matter, because without the base you have no backup, you have no place you can come back and rest for a while and get rebooted, get re-energized so that you can go back out. So this is important. Everybody have a place. Exclusively that it is a war zone as well. They receive missiles coming in. So they are in danger even than you, because you out there are even aware of where you are. But those who are here, because they feel like a small city, they are not aware. So death can take them unprepared. And yes, many people die like that. Right? I mean, the more they come, you come into your zone, and then boom, and then that's it. All right? You see in front of a computer. But I am not a combat veteran who have problems. I was a core veterans that have an academic duty in which I was trained to go there and do my work like everybody else. And I come back right. So I don't have the stuff like people are talking about. I am who I am. I run because it's part of my genes. And I'll explain to that later. Okay? I do my running because it's part of my genes. I do whatever I gotta do. They are part of me. They are not stuff that people believe it is. And I wanted to make sure that people know that. Alright? I do what I do. It's not because military is in me. It's because it is who I am. Yes, military put some discipline, emphasize that, but it is who I am. And if you really look my life back, that's the way I was. But in your process in life, you have to nurture. So now, come out service with that education as well, diversity. Now I've decided that I went to UC, went course, program to programs, looking for the aspiration that I'm up to. In the sense that one department didn't take you in their programs and you get accepted to different programs, it become a problem. I love UC. I don't have a problem with them. Alright? Because that's where I spent 6 years of my academic education. That's the longest so far. From 2007 to 2012. Alright? So you cannot come and tell me that this thing started a long time ago. If I decide to use my academic record, my academic profile from the entirety of my life, I am free to do so. If they have never wanted, they never wanted that in the first place, it is the problem. So they came up short because the system shows that there's nothing like that, but actually there was, because it was rejected in the beginning, when actually there was no reason for it. I can actually sue the Air Force for it, but I don't want to do that because it was a mismatch in the work. It was actually abuse of positions that the person had. All right, so that's what happened. So some people start questioning my academic integrity when actually they were missing a lot of informations. The people that they brought up to testify, whatever they try to show them. I don't know those people. Many of the people that you saw me walk with, they never knew about my life. They never walked with me. They were never my friend. I want to be clear. Those people they never my friend. We were together because that's the way it's supposed to be, but they're never my friend. I have to be very clear. They're never my friend. So when you take people who never your friend, try to show them things because you believe that they're coming from the same place. No. It's a big mistake. People come here, they never knew each other. You're talking about a country who have different regions. And people come out of regions that you never knew before. You come here and meet here. You cannot go to those people and try to find information about other people just because they come from the same place. It's a very, very bad and wrong intelligence. Very, very bad and wrong intelligence. Even family members. What you don't comprehend is that the reality back home is not the same as here. Family members back home in certain family, they worry about the survival. They don't worry about what the other person is doing. They didn't know. They didn't even know if you. Sometimes you even ask them, do you have a friend, brother here who's in university? I don't know, because they don't. Unless the celebration go through, that's what they find out. Because everybody is busy on surviving. You got to understand the reality before you start. Because people are good liars. When they come here, they're looking for something and they try to synchronize with what is in there like it's the same. It's not the same. It's completely different. The reality over there is completely different. The point is that they're never my friend. You went into my enemies to ask for information and you got exactly what you're supposed to get. And I have to suffer from that. They never knew me. I never talked to them about my academic. They don't know none. I can promise you. I speak straight. I've been saying this and I keep saying that because it is true. And I can claim that I know them. I don't. And that's fair. Okay, so the point is, I move on. Okay, when the system, the same people who've been rejecting my academic efficiency and capability came after me, they brought it into the bigger spectrum. They say they want to destroy me. I mean, they brought it, with the record, the profile that's still there. As they've been trying to undermine my academic proficiency and academic efficiency and ability, they continue to do the same. So now, after 6 years, receive my master's. With all the suffering that I've been through, an academic and interdisciplinary academic journey that I went through, people are coming in to say it doesn't merit to have a salary that corresponds to the master. Do you think that, I have a question for you, if I had exactly what you wanted me to have. Do you think that you should be treating me differently? I don't think so. Because there should have been a problem of being linked to terrorism. There should have been a problem of being against the United States. I don't think you should be treating me differently. Because it is more than that. The enemy use one thing to integrate his purpose. It has always been like that. If you watch movies, when the FBI want to come after you, just an example, or the CIA, they have to look for a motive. Either that motive is true or not true, they just need a motive. When they have that motive, that's what they're going to use in a federal court or whatever to get you. That's who it is. I just understand why people, where the intelligence went. Because they keep pounding on it, pounding on it, pounding on it, pounding on it. It becomes like a musical song. You can even dance about it, about happy birthday, pounding on it, happy birthday, pounding on it. The point is, it was all wrong, all along, from the beginning. I just told you, join the Air Force, they refuse. Some two things, very clear, clean. Just because they never wanted me, they want to undermine me. I went in there with a lower grade, but when I went inside and then it was rectified, I got what I was supposed to get, my normal grade. But they were not happy about it. So now I move up into my doctoral level with clear. I rectify everything. I sent all the international school thing into one place that is recognized by all the institutions here in the United States, so they can work on it. Whatever they come up with, that's what I use moving forward. Done with it. And that's what I did. I have Cincinnati State that is there. I have the Community College of the Air Force that is there. I have UC that is there. It is enough. Plus that, coming from that third party, from the University of Douala and other credentials. Still there, they keep pounding on it because he is the plane all along. I'm not after that, man. I don't know what is his motivation, but I know what his motivation, but I don't know why he keep pounding. I want friendship. I'm asking for peace because I know he will never gonna win this. I'm saying that clear in this presentation today. It is a waste of time. But I am asking him for friendship and peace. I want Capella. I'm clear, Capella. Clear. Like I told you. I'm moving forward. I erase every single thing that have a form of a cancer that they use to pound on me. I put it aside. Remember when the president got elected, people were saying he was not born here, he was born in Kenya, he was not born here, he was born in Kenya, he was not born here, he was born in Kenya, he was not born here, he was born in Kenya. At the end, he got tired. You have to bring up a proof. Does he have to do that? No, but sometimes when people want you that, they're just gonna stick on something. It's just the way it is. People want you down. They come up with anything that they see that get people confused and bring up. When you look my academy in the military, high school, Why? Doesn't make sense. It was rejected. They refused to take it in. And that's the point where everything go in the system, the initial point. Anything after go to many bureaucracy, and sometimes it doesn't reach the right office to be updated. And that's what happened. Undermined my existence, undermined my faculty, undermined my abilities. I am asking to the President of the United States. He can use his executive order, request the Congress to remove the FEPA law so that he can access my files. I'm requesting to do that. But I can promise him that the Congress will not pass that. Because you know why? It is that law that protects them to be where they are today. If people know the academic record, many of them will not be re-elected. Because some constituents will find out that they are not proficient and perfect the way they've been saying in the campaign. So the same FEPA law protect every single person, even protect them more than anybody else. Everyone that is elected in that work in that capital DC, from the president to the Congress to Senate, all of them. Then I'm asking him to do that. Bring his executive order, request the FEPA law to be removed, and go to Congress and Senate and see how it will go. They will reject it 0 out of everything because they know what effect that will have in the career. No one want that to be used when they do the campaign, because nobody was Einstein. Sometimes you have C, sometimes you might have some fail grade in that. And people were going to look at it and say, ah man, we can elect this person there. So you come after me thinking that the FEPA law protected me for something that you're imagining? It is false. I'm very clear. And I want people to know this is the new year, this is a new beginning. And I want people to march with discipline into this matter. In his book that he wrote, his father graduated his bachelor in 3 years, from 1959 to 1962. He wrote that. I didn't wrote that. In Hawaii. When a person is intelligent, the person is intelligent. Like I said to you before, a scientific major can be attained and obtained earlier than an engineering major, because you don't need all those capstone and all this stuff. It's more cost oriented and some labs. That's it. In engineering, you have to go to capstones and all those other stuff. That's the reason why it took so long. That's what it is. I obtained my master in 6 years. It is the same time interval that a person obtained a master in science. 6 years. Sometimes even less, 5 years. Like somebody will get his BS in 3 years, 2 years plus 2 years master, 5 years. He have his master. And they are programmed like that, like the MBA. MBA is a professional diploma that requires some specific course as a prerequisite to be admitted. The same thing with any professional major. So I don't understand why people keep questioning my ability when I've been speaking the truth all along. With more than 169 undergrad interdisciplinary courses and 70 plus going on to even 140 graduate. The same thing as I got admitted to this professional doctorate. It's the same thing. Professional one is the criteria of admission are different, mostly based on coursework, because you must meet some specific coursework, which is not easy. It is even more difficult to get in those kind of programs because they require specific coursework. So you can even come there with a degree, but you don't have specific coursework. You're gonna have to take that in order for you to get admitted there. So that's what the professional doctor is. And I'm asking him to do that. To use his executive order, request the Congress to revise and remove the FEPA law so he can have access. So everyone will have access to every single person academic record. Put it online. I'll see how he's going to pass it. Because people believe that it's protecting me. It doesn't protect me. It protects them more than me. The law was made there to protect all of us. But when it becomes that to protect somebody and then you don't like it, you try to make it true. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. You have the law that protect all of us. If you protect somebody for what you're imagining with no causality, don't force it. Just leave it like that. Digging based on false referential. I just told you that my academic from Cincinnati State and University of Douala was refused because people didn't want me to have a better rank. How do you call that one? But I accepted it. But later on, got rectified. So when people do stuff to you, the kind of chroma I receive in this country, it is unprecedented. It doesn't have any rate or any qualification or adjective. But I was able to overpass it, surpass it, and overcome all those. People just have no clue of what I've been through and still going through. My academic pursuit is set. I finished with Capella and I'm going forward to the next one to enhance the last phase of my divine inspirations. It is set. I don't want people to think that I don't know what to do. You are lost. I know what to do from now 20 years after. You have no clue. I want you to know that. It's just that you cannot force people to make decisions, but you have to go with how things are going. That's the reason why. People out there talking stuff and he did this and that. People went to many programs before they reach the end, depending on what they're looking for. People have aspiration, and In order for us to get into our true aspiration, we have to go through many steps and stones to get there. It's just the way life is. But using those folks who are not my friend in the first place, second thing, they don't know me, and third thing, they are my opponent, my enemies, it is wrong. China, who is investing today in Africa, China started the process of promoting the citizen overseas so that they can get knowledge and come back and develop their own country. They started doing that a long time ago. Something that our leaders in Africa are still unable to do. Instead of doing that, they're spending time destroying the life of those who are working hard. Today, they are all going to Africa, to China, to have them come to develop their country. Let me tell you how China started. China accepted the Western to enter the world and supported the citizens who have idea of innovation and entrepreneurship to come, and they sponsored them and helped them to be part and have a better life. But acknowledge the government. That's how they do. You just have to acknowledge the government. If you don't acknowledge the government, you have problems. I don't have a problem with that. If you can be like Alibaba, when the government come and say we need the list of those people because we suspect them for terrorism, Alibaba said no problem. That's the list right there. He said that on 60 Minutes. That he communicated with the government for stuff like that. What is the point with that? Because Google do the same, Facebook do the same. They just don't tell you that. Twitter do the same. All of those folks. They sponsor their student outside, supported the student who have good ideas. If I was a Chinese, with all the reputation that I have today, I can promise you that I should have received already a letter to come back home and then I have this to propose me what I'm supposed to have to succeed. Something that the leader in Africa are still failing to do, and they are surprised why things are going the way they're going. People from the Western world want to prove you that you can succeed. Success will not come in Africa from who you are there, the way you are. It will come from doing exactly what China have done. That's the reason why God opened the path for people to travel, to get knowledge around the world, so they can come back and innovate the country. China stayed the way they, like this for years, generation. They never wanted to open to the Western world. And they realized that it was not wealthy and healthy for the nation progress. They were stagnating. So they opened. So Africa is doing today, they don't want to do that. When somebody is doing well, that he want to do something, he need power. Who told you that everybody need power? What is wrong with this kind of analogy and thinking? You need war. I was raised in peace. I never see a real war. I don't like war. I was in the military, yes. Well, not everybody will go in the military like war. It's not a disease or contamination. Oh yeah, I just smoke war. I smoke more, I smell war now. I'm gonna start doing war now. Becoming like a freaking German. This is the kind of mixed up people from, I don't know, if 1960 or 50 or something like that. You change this kind of mentality. We need to start moving in the right direction. Because when a nation succeeds, Instead of asking the nation to come and help you, ask the nation how did they did, to be where they are. And start applying the same. You think that China love all the people that they're sponsoring from the country? They don't. But they have to do that because it is beneficial for the nation. They have their own problems. But today they are investing all over the place in Africa. The progress of Africa depends on those who are overseas. The success of Africa depends on those who are overseas. Not for those who are there. Those who are there don't have double-minded to see how the world functions. They only see what they want them to see. They don't know the difference. Truly, they're there, they must say, shut up, you don't know what, you don't know the difference. When I was there, I was thinking I do. But when you travel, you come here, you see the real difference. You want to be like China? Start doing what they did. Stop listening to those flattery for those Western countries who come and give you some money and then to put you in the FMI, and then later on they try to make you think that you're progressing when actually you're digressing. Support those who are overseas who have good intention to develop the nation and help them. And stop defaming and destroying the characters. It is not progressive. And 100 years from today, generation gonna grow and they're gonna see like they have like a curse. They have no curse. The previous generation have done none. I'm speaking the truth. If you don't wake up today, you're gonna stay like that for a very long time. You think that you're gonna become whatever you want to become by doing nothing? China became whatever they became because they opened and supported the people overseas. Come back home and invest and put money on them to enhance their ability and faculty. You are there. You don't understand how the world functions. You see, you understand how the world functions. You think that you're going to succeed and progress with the people out there? You tell me how far Cuba succeeded if they don't open to the Western world. They have a life, but it's not pretty. It's not good. They can do better. They can do more. It is an example. Success of your nations depend on those who are overseas. If you don't know that, you're wasting your time. You're already in debt. Those who are there have mixed up ideology how to run the country. It will never change unless people who have different vision, who have seen, who are still overseas, can be infiltrated and bring in new change and put some of those folks aside. The president of Gabon did it. He took all the old folks that his father had there, sent them all out. Go retirement, go on your farm over there. You did your time. It's not that you're insulting them, but they actually did their time. You have to give place to the new generation. If God didn't want new generation, he can let people live forever. But people keep getting born every day because he have a purpose for them. Therefore, there's old generation and new generation. End of the story. How come a person like me will come here with a profile like that? People are going to say to me, you have something to do with what happened. Have something to do what? Do you know what kind of profile it is? Linked to Al-Qaeda, to terrorism, against the United States, fraud, false monies maker, everything that's you know what it is? It is sentence for death. That's what it is. No chance of success. Period. So that's my message today for those leaders. They can try to come after me, but for those who are intelligent and wise, they're going to say what this guy is saying is true. It might be painful, but that's the truth. You want reform? You want change? Start doing that. Because that's exactly what China have done. There's nothing bad to say to people, this is how our governance is structured. You function like that. And you have your part. You live well. End of the story. That's what China do. You go over there, they tell you what to do. The government is there, is the way it's structured. You want to live here, and they put you down. I have no problem with that. If you do things right, and then you work hard, you can get in a circle of those folks and lead tomorrow. That you have what you're supposed to have. Your business is functioning well. You have no problem. What the heck? You function. You know? Yeah, there are certain things like that in Africa. I'm not refusing that. But it's very limited. You know, those are not new folks from overseas, from diaspora. Those are those we think there we will succeed from what? How are you going to succeed if you don't know the difference? A complete change in morality and ethical values and governance. Complete. So I believe that we're moving forward. I don't want to hear anything about me, about my academy, if somebody don't have legal jurisdictions as well as clemency with proof, because the law is there and everyone will be susceptible to be subpoenaed in court of law. I have spoken, I'm very clear. Those defamatory action and activities must cease. I've asked to the president, I gave him a proposal. You need to stop talking behind the scenes, beyond the cabinet, and go in action. Look up into that FEPA law if you want that to be examined. They said, nothing of fear, you follow the law. If you cannot follow the law, you give me the opportunity I'm supposed to receive for the benefit of this nation first, before even Cameroons. So you guys are the gainful party here. So I don't understand what this is about. So now we move into the second term, and I say, awesome, awesome, awesome. God is awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Jesus Christ, awesome. Now, I am introducing the new definitions of the true name of God. The true name of God, and I will give you what it means. The true name of God is YHWH. Alright? That's his true name. It cannot be pronounced. That's exactly how God is. He is so powerful that no one can pronounce his name in any language. In order for men to do that, they have to add a between Y and H and an E between W and H. They made it Yahweh. Men modify that, not God. His true name is YHWH. And until today, no one have depicted what it is. But through his divine inspiration, the communication I had with him, he was able to communicate, and I was able to identify the message. And you understood, you will understand after that. After I explain to you why that is his true name and why that means I am. The beginning is the end, and anything in between. It is when he said to Moses, when Moses say, if I go there and I say that somebody sent me, and they say, who sent you? Will I say that name? He said, yes. That was the name he gave to Moses, YHWH. It means I am. What does that mean? The Y stand for the chromosome Y, saying he is a male. Now the H represent the chromosomes, the DNA molecules. If you look at the DNA molecules, the DNA molecules are like a ladder that is twisted. You have two helix. I mean the two sugar phosphate base, okay, or backbone like they call it. They are helix or strand that have the peptide bond, the nucleotide base that connect together to the hydrogen bond, peptide bond. So they form like a ladder. If you unfold it, when the RNA polymerase enzyme unzipped them, it becomes flat during the process of transcriptions of the DNA. That's what you see is like a ladder. So that H represents a ladder. It means the DNA. He's the originations. So just by looking the name of God, you have the definition of everything. That's what he gave you to tell you. It is simply, if you are with God, He's going to define to you things that you've been looking for eternity in copper word. That's how intelligent He is. That's the reason why I say intelligent design. And I'll explain to you what I mean by intelligent design. Intelligent design is the computer software that is inside of you. It is called the genome code. It is a supernal coded software that make you be who you are and give you life. And supernal comes from supernatural. Higher intelligence. That's what I call intelligent design. Only by looking his name. So the Y represents the Y chromosomes. He is a male. Period. Now, the H represents the DNA molecules. The W represent woman. That is the reason why Jesus Christ always refer a female as woman. Look your Bible, read it. He always say woman, woman, woman. He represent woman. From the Y chromosome of the DNA molecule of the Y chromosomes, if woman was formed, and from the woman you have the next and the last letter is another H, which represent a DNA molecule. Then now from the woman there will be a proliferations of DNA molecule forever. Life barrier. Adam, Y chromosome. Man. H, the chromosomes that represent him. W, the woman was made out of the chromosome, out of the DNA of the Y chromosomes. The woman now called the life barrier, life barrier, will produce and replicate and multiply the word through the Y chromosome. YHWH. He's God. He is the beginning and he is the end. And everything in between. When you see the way the DNA molecules are made, they are made in like a horizontal number 8. That means in mathematics infinity. So the H is at the end, infinity. The Y chromosome and H mean infinity. That's the name of God. He is the creator of everything just by interpreting that name the way he gave it. His intelligence that he brought was not made out of chance, of necessity, or it was not made out of chance and necessity. It was made out of intelligent design. That's what I'll be covering today. For a specific purpose, based on who is his name. I am. I am the beginning, the Y chromosomes. And I am the end, the DNA molecules. To infinity. When you transit, you want to transit from the second heaven into the third heaven using a different portal. What connect them? It is a very long ladder. Very long ladder where angel climb very fast. It's like a stairway based from a ladder. They climb it very fast with informations to reach the third heaven. It's a different portal. And that H represents that as well. Now, let me tell you the kind of technology God have. That is above your technology, because it's still using a ladder. You're using a ladder. Those angels are so fast to go through that. It's not a ladder like you think. It's a very magnificent ladder, good looking. It's kind of like a stairway, stairway, but from a ladder. Very, very not flamboyant, when you go through it. But when you see those angels go there, it's like a second. They're already up. You know, the other are coming down, they're coming up, and they're coming down. Now, the thing is, you have that computer software inside of you. You have 150 billion cells that make your body. And every cell have 23 pair of chromosomes. It means 46 chromosomes. Every chromosome have 2 pair of DNA molecules. Every DNA molecules have a pair of strands, also called helix. Those helix are just going to talk about only one DNA molecules out of a chromosomes, because a chromosome have a pair of DNA molecules, and I'll only use one. Now, the one DNA molecule have 1 pair of strands. What I'm going to explain to you is applied to all of the DNA molecule, therefore all of the chromosomes and all of the cells. All of the 46 chromosomes of every single cells. Like that for 150 cells, 50 billion cells in a matter of seconds. Computer programming that is inside of you. Biological coded software. You have no clue of how it works. It is a biological coded software advanced in a level that do not exist in this dimension. Period. The helix, the 2 strands, are composed of base. Those base are only 4 kind. Adenine, cytosine, thymine, and guanine. Again, adenine, cytosine, thymine, and guanine. So it's A, C, T, G in sequence. That's the way they arrange. Specific arrangement, very important. And they are tied together because it's 1 pair, 2 strand, by sugar phosphate backbones, also called, they call it, you know, they are the helix, the strands. And the nucleotide are called marker. They are there, arranged in order, specific order, numbers. Very important. Now, what connect both strands are the peptide bond, hydrogen form. And God coded, put informations in those peptide bond, those nucleotide, nucleic acid. They have biological informations of your character, the way you smile, the way you read, the way you act, the way you taste, your sex habit, the kind of woman you see, and then that actually make you like every single thing that you do that is specific to you. He put it there in those nucleotide. Science has not discovered yet what it is, but I'm telling you that now for the first time. I read all the presentations, all of them. The information is in there, in those nucleotides. It will never gonna be found. It's very advanced, massively advanced. It is spiritual technology. It will never be found. That is the truth behind creations. So now, how did that work? Out of those arrangements, there is what is called a RNA polymerase enzyme. RNA polymerase that come and unzipped the DNA like I told you, bring it back like a ladder, separate the peptide bond. When it separates the peptide bond, there is what is called the coded strand, the strand in which God have put the code on it. For what I explained to you, your character, the way you act, the way you function, the kind of taste you like, what make you specifically who you are. It is called information specific. I can call it sequence specificity. The sequence specificity start with the arrangements of those base, those nucleotide, with the information inside. And that arrangement in combination means something, because there's only 4 base. So they must be arranged accordingly to have a function, because they dictate everything else after. They are the roots of who you are, because that's where the information is. Now we're moving to information complexity after the sequence specificity. That's how that software is structured. Because after the information complexity, we're going to have the final products, the protein productions, protein synthesis. That's the final end. Because without protein, there's no life. Without well-arranged protein in a 3-dimensional plane, there's no life, period. And I'll explain to you how to get there. Now, the RNA polymerase come in, unzipped one of the DNA, like I told you, one of the DNA. When he unzipped it, it separates the peptide bond. When it separates the peptide bond, what come in is what is called a RNA messenger form inside the RNA polymerase. And that RNA messenger is composed, God made it composed of 4 bases as well. The only difference is that it does have adenine, that is A. It does have cytosine, that is C. Instead of the thymine, you have uracil in the RNA messenger. And then you have the G, that is guanine. So you have A, C, U, and G. Because the U is like the T in the original DNA. Okay? So now the correspondence between the 2 strands of the DNA, the A go with the T and the G go with the C. That is another specificity on the sequence specificity. Now, when you have the base of the messenger RNA called the mRNA, they will be looking for the coded strand, the strand in which God put all the code. Because this is what happened. The DNA is formed when God put the code. The first strand is what dictates the entire DNA. And the second pair of the DNA of the chromosome, the first strand that is coded dictates the second one. The way it is made with all the information, the second one is formed with the corresponding. If the first one starts with the A, the other one going to be T. We'll start with the T. And then the next is C, the other one will be G. And the next base is T, the other one will be A. The next base is G, the other one will be C. That's the way it is, the combination. Now, the DNA and the RNA, the mRNA is formed. It is called transcription. What is transcription? Transcription is where an information is printed or retrieved from an original source. That's why the word comes from transcript, when they print information or they write information or copy information from somewhere. So that's the procedure of transcription. So the messenger RNA, actually the messenger, he come in and copy the information that God coded inside of those original coded strand and copy that. And when he finished to copy that information, what happened is the RNA polymerase take out the messenger RNA, and the DNA molecule come back together. The peptide bond connect again together. It happened like that for every DNA molecule in every chromosome and every cell. And then when it leaves out, another protein come in place called the ribosome proteins. The ribosome protein take the messenger RNA and bring it into the cytoplasm. The cytoplasm is the place where the procedure of translation starts. Translation is to take an information from one place to another. It means like you want to translate, you take translate a letter from one language to another. But in this term is to take information from one end to another. That's the process of translation. It is called the DNA translation. So after the DNA transcription, from that sequence specificity, we're moving into that information complexity that leads us into DNA translation. Now the messenger RNA is moved by a protein ribosome called the ribosome. He take it with that information that he retrieved from that coded strand in that DNA, specific DNA, and bring it into a cytoplasm to manufacture the beginning of proteins. In that process, another RNA come along called the transfer RNA, actually to take information from the messenger RNA and link it into a protein bound protein chain. So the transfer RNA comes with what? On the bottom, it comes with what is called another sequence of 3 base, AUG. AUG, they only coded with 3 sequence, and they are called anticodon. But those bases correspond to 3 bases on the messenger RNA, because the ribosome divide the messenger RNA inside of the cytoplasm in 3. And the transfer RNA come exactly with the corresponding 3 using the same mechanism. It means A will go with what? With T. A will go with T. U, that is T, will go with what? With A. That's what it is. And the G will go with C. But the code that will bound the channel of the protein will come from the codon. And the division that the ribosome will make on a messenger RNA are called codons. And the tRNA come with 3 anticodons that correspond into those codons, and in the top have a coded proteins. That is the transfer RNA. Now, the first transfer RNA is put in place, and the second one comes. When the second one comes, and the information is transferred on the second one, you have a bond made between two proteins, and the first one go out, another one come in. When another one come in, the information is transferred from the messenger RNA, the 3 codon, to the 3 anticodon, and it's transferred. You have a bond between the second proteins and the third one, and the second one go out, the fourth one come in. So that's how it is formed. It's like a machine, it's like a manufacturing. Everything's coded. So one come in, the first one is there, and then another one come in. When the information is retrieved from both, the first one is already there, the second one information is done, you have the bound. The first one go, and so on 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 and so on. And you have a formation of multiple amino acid that compose a proteins. The smallest protein have 150 amino acid on it. 150. And they are arranged in specific order because there is only 20 kind of amino acid, but you have 100,000 amino acid. 100,000 proteins. I want to say proteins. I'm sorry, proteins. 100,000 proteins. 100,000. But the smallest proteins among those 100,000 have 150 amino acid. Now, when the amino acid is formed and reach its end, it means God made it coded like this. It starts with the AUG or ATG. ATG means start. And then when you want to stop, you have the exact protein form. You have 3 set of stop. That means stop. Like you want, when you write your letter, you write sincerely. You have finished your letter. It is, the code is UAA or TAA or UAG or TAG or UGA or TGA. Now you know that that's the stop, the end of the one protein, the beginning of the protein, the end. When that end occurs, what happens is this: the ribosome take that protein and send it into another protein that mold that protein into a 3-dimensional shape for the exact function that is supposed to do. Like the hammer have a shape, right? Is to slam. The saw have a shape, is to for specific function. So that protein is there just to mold it. It take it, shape it for the exact function that is supposed to do. And when that shape is made in a 3-dimensional shape. 3-dimensional shape. God created human long time ago before we start talking about 3-dimension. 3-dimension inside of microscopic nanotechnology. Striking story. People say they have intelligence. Now, when it is shaped in that form, specific form for that function, the cells are open and they ascend into the specific place where they're supposed to do that function. And they are different shape based on the function, specific shape. You see, from the base that I mentioned on the DNA, you have the DNA transcription from sequence specificity to DNA translation through information complexity into the formation of a proteins, which is the end products. Now, when the protein is formed in that specific shape, molded by one of the proteins, it is sent where it's supposed to do that function. And there are millions, thousands like that in a matter of seconds. And you have 150 billion cells all function like that. And what I just mentioned to you is only one DNA molecules. And the chromosome, out of 46 that one cell composes of, is what make all that story I just mentioned. Imagine it go like that for all the 46 chromosomes for only one cell, and all the 150 billion cells you have in your body. How it function. Computer program is a software program, biological coded software, because the way you see the numbers, computer are coded like what? Binaries. 0 1 0 1 1 1 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 0 1 1 1. It represents a sequence. In computer code, you have a sequence that is called start, and you have a sequence that is called stop. The same thing with the DNA molecule. When you look the genome code, God is so advanced that he coded. He made a coded software with letters. So instead of seeing the computer code as 0 1 0 1 1 1, you see what? A C T G all over the place. A C T G G G C. That's how you see, like letter. That's how it's coded. And those represent the amino acid sequence. Like you see the computer code. When you see the movie, you see sometimes 0 1 0 0 1 0 0 1. Like the computer, you see that's how the computer are coded. In the DNA, you're gonna see A G A C T G A C G D A C G D all over the place. That's how he coded that with letters. Letters. I don't know if we ever gonna code it something in letters. It is what it is. It is the reason why we were able to understand computer programming, because it is in our genes. Now, protein are made out of DNA, like I explained, and protein are made out of proteins. So there is no way you will have the formations of protein without having other proteins. I am talking about evolution here. There was no way. They were created at the same time. Because in order for you to have protein, you must have another proteins. In order for the RNA to be formed, they're supposed to have a ribosome to unzip the DNA. That's another proteins. And when that messenger RNA retrieves the information from the coded strand of the DNA, that's another protein. It is removed by what? Out, and bring into the translation phase by another protein called a ribosome. So in the beginning, it was created simultaneously. It means all together at the same time in order to start the process. There's no way it was made through evolutions. Because in order for you to obtain protein, you need to have DNA base. Evolutionists can say yes, it was possible. But now, in order for you to have proteins forms in the process of information complexity from sequence specificity, you need to have another proteins. And where did that come from? If protein have to be formed from existing proteins, where do other protein come from? It means somebody placed it there. End of the story. I am proving to you that God exists. I am proving to you that evolution is a process within creation. The first time a person have said that before, it have never been said. Evolution is the process within creation. I want people to take that into account. It was all along the plan of the Creator. Slight modification can happen in time. It is called morphology of genes. If you have one bound transfer the RNA in place, and you only have one coded amino acid, what are the possibility? You only have 20 possible amino acids that can form. If you have one amino acid that need to be formed, what are the possibility? The possibility are 20 into the power 1. Into the power 1. Now, if you have 2 amino acid that are formed, now you have 20 into the power 2 possibility that specific amino acid will be formed, because there's only 20 kind of amino acid in a specific order. Now if you have 3, it's 20 into the power 3. If you have 4, it's 20 into the power 4 possibility. Now, like I mentioned before, the smallest protein have 150 amino acid. So the number of possibility of 150 in one simplistic amino acid is 20 into the power 150. You tell me how in a word you can have an evolution with such specificity and arrangement that will make life function the way you are. People who did the evolution thing, they didn't know how the DNA function. They just didn't understood it. So imagine you have 100,000 of proteins, and one protein have about 150. So you're going to do in average, let's say in average, I take the average, the mean, the arithmetic mean. In average, a proteins, when you take all the proteins with all the number of amino acids they have, you take the average. Average is 164. Just take it like that. So in average, all right, the number of possibility is 20 into the power 164. Now you have 100,000 of proteins. You multiply 20 into the power 164 by 100,000. The number of possibility of protein form. That's even going far. Just stick with that one. The protein itself. In average. The simplistic protein. That corresponds to what? It corresponds into 10. Yeah? Corresponds into 10 into the power 195. That's the number of atoms in a universe. So the number of possibility to get one 150 amino acid to form a protein, the simplistic protein in your body. That is 150. It is 20 into the power 150. What are the chances of having one form in that specific order out of it? It is 1 out of 220 into the power 150 is pretty much equal, is 0. When you divide 1 by 20 into the power 150, that will give you 0, because you're going to have 0.000000000. I'll drink water, I go to sleep, 0.0000000. I watch TV, I go to sleep, 0.0000000. I'm going to go and call somebody and go to sleep, 0.00000 into the end, 0. Not happen. Just give up. Give up. That's what it is. Evolution cannot happen, proving that, because you have a specific arrangement. Somebody program all those things exactly like that to make it happen exactly as you see, with a very high advanced intelligent design of a supernal biologic coded software inside of the nucleic acid of the nucleotide that compose the basis of the DNAs in their sugar phosphate backbones called strand or helix, connected by the peptide bonds. And he made it. The strands separated don't have any power, but connected to that peptide bond, they're stronger. Twisted, they are even more stronger than ever. And that's why he made it. And there are more to come that I will explain in my research to show you the reason why it's even more is twisted like that. And I'll prove to you that atoms have a positive charge. Those nucleic acids are composed of neutrons and protons and electrons. Those are electric charge. Even though there's nothing that proves that A have to go with T and G have to go with C, there's nothing that proves that. It was programmed like that from inside, that they have to attract. Now, even if, like I'm proving that the coded strand is a positively charged strand, and the other strand that is not coded is the negatively charged strand, and every single base are positive or negative, that make them attract. They still were programmed to do just that. Because if you only talk about singling the polarity, it means without being programmed, any base from both sides can be attracted diagonally. It means A can be attracted by G from the other side, and C can be attracted by T from the other side. But they will program exactly that A have to be attracted by T and or U when you talk about DNA and mRNA, and G have to be attracted by C when you talk about mRNA. When you talk about DNA, and then when you talk about mRNA, it's pretty much the same thing, excluding U and A, because U will be attracted to A when you're talking about the DNA and mRNA, or the DNA and any RNA. So you see how complex that information is. So the possibility to have one arranged amino acid out of 20 into the power 150 is 0. So God planned all of that alone. He planned everything alone. The way he programmed his thing. People say, sometimes when they look at you, they say, well, all the women are the same. You don't, you can, discriminate against them because they are all the same. It is lack of knowledge. Yes, women are all the same because they are women. They have the same biological structure. That's what makes them the same. Now, when it comes into choice, relationship choice, they become different because the way God coded every person nucleic acid, nucleotide. When they're talking about genomic blueprint or genetic blueprint, that's what they're talking about. Something that make you specific, you. I mean, when you test something, that's good. The other person come and test it, say, no, that's not good. You look at a person, you say, oh, she's beautiful. The other person look and say, no, she's about that. And the other person say, no, she's not. I like to play soccer. The other person say, no, I like to play basketball. The other person say, no, I like to play cricket. And the other person come and say, I like to bowl. I like to do bowling. What? And the other person say, I like to do Skyping. The other person come and say, no, I like to do the, go into the river and just swim or surf. The other person says, I like to play tennis. The other person says, no, I just like to jump. The other person come and say, no, I just like to run. You take 20 women, you put them in a room. You take 20 men, you put them in a room and say, I want you, every single one of you, to make a choice. You'll be surprised and stunned that they will make different choice. The possibility of having two people making or people making the same choice, very, very, very difficult. It is possible, but it would not be imminent like you think. One gonna look, the other one that you look are pretty, you're gonna say, nah, that's not my type. It's the way God programmed you from those nucleotides. That's where the information was coded. So when you see people the way they are, it's because that's the way they are. That's the way God created them. There are many people, there are many confused, they don't understand, they're lacking knowledge. They're making money, they think they're there. You're making money out of lacking knowledge. And because of that picture, you believe that you know something, when actually you know not. I am talking about stuff that are coming through. The way you were programmed. The information that is inside your nucleic acid that formulate those proteins that have that specific function that make you look something and say, oh, that's nice. Oh, that smells good. Oh, this don't smell good. It's not good. Take a perfume. Take simple perfume. Go to a room of perfume. See people gonna say, I like this perfume. The other people gonna say, no, even if you kill me, I'm not gonna get it. What? And the other person said, no, I don't like that. I like the other one. The one that everybody rejected. That's the one he liked. That is how God programmed his stuff. And people just have to respect it. It doesn't mean that if somebody don't like you, it doesn't mean that you're not worth it. It's just the way he is programmed. There's somebody out there who gonna like you. God made it that way for a reason, so that everybody gonna have somebody who gonna like him. If he had made everybody to the same way, there are many people who gonna stay with no one. Because and there will be many battles because everybody gonna like the same thing. Everybody gonna go like ice cream, and ice cream gonna run out in the stores. I only like bread. Everybody come and like bread and bread and bread. Bread gonna run out of the world. Somebody need to like potatoes. The other person need to like rice. The other person need to like mangoes. It's just the way it is. The other person just like the sweets and stuff, and peanuts and peanut butter. I like peanut butter with ice cream on it, and with what the heck. Yeah, people like that. I like my pizza when you put pepperoni on it, with some sugar on it, with some onion on it, with some meat on it. Please add some soda on it as well. It's just the way people are. And the other person gonna come and say, when I finish eating like that, I like to smoke my cigarette. And the other person gonna come and say, I like to drink some good wine or champagne. And the other person gonna, I like my Budweiser. And the other person gonna come and say, I like my Heineken. That's the way God programmed it. It is gene thing. Now, he also programmed it so that you can have a possibility of not allowing those stuff to happen. You can say, I don't want to drink. You can say, I don't want to smoke. So he created that with anti negativities, that you can build anti negativities within you. You can say, I don't want to smoke, and you can actually decide that. So he made everything, programmed everything with all possibility into the sharpest level that you can even imagine. It's out of this world, my friend. The kind of technology they have over there, I don't even know if you can call it nanotechnology. It's something more than that. Or you can call it YHWH technology. Just call it like that. End of the story. You move on. Because there's no way you can even dream of doing something like that, because you will never. It's too much advanced. Doing code with letters is something else. So far, men only use the code. They don't even want to look what is inside, how it was made, because it's very complex. You start talking about the atoms, and you need to understand how the atoms, the nucleus, and then how it is made. There's something else very advanced, and that's where spiritual technology come from, and it's something very complicated and complex. And certain people advance on that as well. And like I said last time, that if you take a cell, you take all the amino acid out of the proteins, and throw them into a livable zones in the waters, those amino acids will not be able to come together and form a proteins and form a cell. That's another process of eliminating evolution. But if you take a cell and put it in a livable zone, that cell will divide, replicate himself into the form a living organism, because it is programmed from within without being unpurified. It will form something. That's the proof that somebody placed it there. It is very important that we understand a lot of concept. The knowledge must be found. We must know exactly what it is. And I put this again to look good. Oh yeah, that's completely right. See, it's very cool that we know that. People must not take themselves out. Must not kill themselves out. They must be who they are. I do have the better difficulty and challenges, but I stand as I am because I know the truth. I find, I know that you can be in a situation of test because God put you in test. He tests you. You see, when you have kids, when you're kids, you're still small, right? You have all those code inside of you, even if some of them come from your parents. But what makes the difference is that the soul that God put on you is what makes the difference. Because when you put the soul that on you, that soul bring another different form of programmings that commensurate with how your genome are made. And from there, it does put a plus into what he wants you to do, to become, to follow the aspiration he has put in your place for the purpose he wants you to achieve, to glorify his name and work. So when you see a kid, he's still a kid, right? He doesn't have any ability to say no because he still lives under your roof. So when you say something, say yes. The only thing they can do is cry. They can just cry. They can just cry, and that's it. That's all they can do. But when they grow up, they're gonna start saying no. I don't want to do that because I don't like that. This is what I like. You're gonna be surprised that every time you've been bringing him to eat in that kind of restaurant, he never liked it, but he was kind of scared to say I don't like it because he didn't have a choice. But when he grew up, the next time you say let's go there, he can say no, I'm not going there. Why? I never like it at all. Every time you will bring me there, I never like to go there. You'll be surprised because when he grow up, his true self start expressing itself from within, and it's like an explosion. And that's why most of the time they become like a rebellion in a certain age because the true self start coming out and they don't know how to handle it. And most of us handle it in challenge and difficulties, in decision making. And when they go down. They say, oh, that's what you learn. You come back up and you go down, and then you come back up and you go down. Okay, I learned, and you come back up and you go down. Okay, I learned, you come back up. And then that's how you become mature. When you reach the age of 60, you can sit down and say, hey, young man, everyone go to that. It is the way he made it. It's because the choice we made in the beginning. We should have been guided by angel, but we decide to go with experimentation. Experimentation, you don't know. It's like speculations. So that's when you're going to see those kids when they grow up, they start making their own decisions. And they are not wrong. It's just that they need to have some discipline in that. Because the way they express it, it starts like an explosion from inside. Everything starts coming together. This is what I like. Oh, this is what, sometimes it's one of what they like, not even the true one. And in time, the maturity start coming up and they finally get into exactly what they want. After all the trouble and challenges, they start saying, man, I wasted my time for that thing, man. This is the true thing now, Few people have the chance to go straight into their purpose and they make it happen right away. Mostly it depends if you have around you people who have very advanced knowledge in spiritual realm and understand creations. They can guide you. If you are a parent like that, they'll make sure that you reach that level. Or if you have good advisor, they'll make sure that you reach that level so quick. tell you that in the beginning, early stage, and you start preparing yourself. Most leaders that you see, they went through that. You don't become leader out of the blue. You see those presidents that you see, the one in DC today, they are people that they got prepared 20 years. They told him, this is what we see. You have that. This is what we see. If you continue that, this direction you have to follow if you want to reach that. And they start working on it. That's what it is. It's not magic. It's not something you can add magic on it, but it's something that is prepared. You work on it. You don't wake up and say, I want to be president. Think that you're going to reach there like that. It's a lot of sacrifice. It's a lot of understanding of who you are. A lot of understanding of the spiritual world. First of all, God is spiritual. He lives in a spiritual realm. To understand who He is, you need to understand the spiritual realm. There's no other choice. You go to that Bible. I respect your effort. I respect your devotion for God. But it might not be sufficient enough. You must understand the spiritual realm, because that's where God is, that's who God is, that's where God lives, that's how He functions. And every single one will work for Him, from Jesus Christ to whatever. And the materialistic world is integrated into the spiritual world. You know what integrated means, right? It means you are inside of it. What does that mean? It means that the spiritual world dominates the materialistic world. What does that mean? It means that the spiritual world dictates what happens into the materialistic world. That's what it means. When they say you are integrated somewhere. If you are integrated somewhere, it means that you become part of that system. That's what it means in mathematics, in physics, in chemistry, whatever it is. So we are integrated into the spiritual world. Everything you see is all in energy. And the spiritual world is energy, is a crystalline energy. I mean, that's how they form. With super now, with meta DNAs. Living in a different realm. They live in a different realm, and then they can exist in a physical realm, and all manipulations they can do. They can make you feel the presence. They can make you not feel the presence at all. That's how dominated they are. But you cannot see who they are if you're not trained. But you have to be trained for it. They're there. They're watching you. You're enjoying your life. They can allow you to see who they are. Open your eyes to that dimension and see it. It's a completely different world, man. Completely different world. So I'm saying to folks that somebody say that if you count and you don't include God on it, you don't know how to count. If you live a life without God, your life will have no meaning. People who are taking themselves out, people who are looking for other remedy for their problems, they always end up in a situation where they have to take their life away. When you live a life without God, your life will have no meaning. A life without meaning is a life with no purpose. A life without any purpose is a life that don't have any hope. A life without any hope is an empty life. And a life that is empty is a life that leads into tragic end. That's why you see people killing themselves. because they refused to count God into the process. Somebody program you. He put obstacle in your life. He do it on purpose. He do it because his universe that he created have to function. Like I explained before, you have a spiritual structure that is part of the spiritual universe. And that spiritual structure have souls that come from it. And every single souls that exists, like the soul of yours that exists right now, have a spiritual structure as well that derive from that spiritual overall structure. You have a soul that have a structure above in the universe, and the way you live your life, it will affect that structure. And if that structure is affected, it will affect the entire mechanism of the universe and break some problem in the balance and equilibrium of the universe. Therefore, God have no choice than putting obstacle in your path and difficulty and challenges to remedy and bring that soul into complete harmony with the universe. That's the reason why suffering exists. And people just have to understand it and take the suffering with their own hand and accept it until when you come to harmony, God will compensate you as well. Always will compensate you. Many people don't understand it. You have difficulties because somewhere, somehow, you went off road. Your soul structure got off his normal patterns. And when you have what is called the angliness. When a structure is made, if one part and all structure depend each other, if one part of the structure is mixed up, what happens? The entire structure will be mixed up. You never have a mechanical wash where you have all the angliness out there, all parts depend each other like a ripple effect. If one part is mixed up, all the parts, the entire thing will not work. It's the same thing. When your soul is mixed up, it affects the entire system. So God have no choice just to balance it. He will do everything that he's supposed to do to get it done. The universe have to advance in his normal agenda. So you must have that. You must have those challenges and the life of reincarnations that come along, because the residual that you have to transfer into the present life in order for you to get that balance, because your structure is still off-road, is still out of the patterns and must be reinstated into its normal patterns. That's why you see people, they have problems. They don't know how to find happiness. But your happiness depends on the one who created you. I know most of us have cultures, and some of us depend on those cultures. The reason why God created all of these things is because he gave men choice. He doesn't force a relationship on people. All right? His creation, he doesn't. So he gives choice. But he knows he's watching that you're going to come back when you start facing a situation where there's no other way to look them up. And you just say, oh, maybe let's try that God and start praying. That's how you start accepting him, and then that's how you start coming close. There is no need in to do just that. Many people don't pray. Many people got confused between the accommodation that God gave them to live into this journey. They think this is all. I attach myself into the materialistic things that are temporal. When people say those are temporary, they are vanity, you actually don't know what is it. You are in a journey, and somebody give you a suit to wear. He give you a car to drive based on the technology of the world. People used to work to get into the direction, and then people used to drive horses. Now it's car. Okay, now you love those things more than your real purpose. What you here for? I got a big car. I got a big house. You know, I have these this and that and that. At the end, when you have problems, you don't know where to look at because you put God aside out of your account. Who's gonna help me? Who's gonna help me? Who's gonna help me? Who's gonna help me? At the end, the only thing you have in mind, I'll kill myself. Go ahead. When you do that, you think you have a difficult life. Wait, when you transit to the other world, you'll find out. Lucifer will be waiting for you with that magma of fire. You're going to be looking for a return. It will not be possible. As you think it's so easy, simple. When I'm talking about it, people think he's just talking crazy stuff. It's not crazy stuff. When you take yourself out, when you don't count God, and you believe that the only way out is to kill yourself, remember, God put you in a test. He put you in trial for a reason. And the reason, the true reason, is to balance your soul, bring it in harmony with the universe. That is the main reason, you know, on all problem in this world. Now, after that, God will compensate you for good. If your soul is not a structure of the universe, you will not benefit well from what He has put for you in your stars. Many of us are born with the influence of the stars, starting from the galaxy in which we were born. In this earth, it is the Milky Way. The direct influence from those galaxies start with the planet that are composed in our solar galaxy. Other planets also influence those that are related with our galaxy, but they are indirectly influential into our life. But what God did when He created all the stars, those stars are used to have all our blessings. That's why when you're born, your birth is related into the position of the stars. What influence what? What influence what? Every single planet have a factors into your life, and depending now on how you're born, they're all going to have an influence on you. Your love wife. I'm talking about the moon, the planet, and every single thing that is part of the Milky Way, the solar galaxy. Now, other planets as well in other galaxies influence you, but they influence you indirectly through the planets that are part of the solar galaxy. They are the main influences. Like Mercury is for the money, Jupiter and Saturn is for many other things. The moon relationship, the Venus relationship, and moon is for other stuff. And all of that, the influence. That's how God put it. Now, he when he sits in his chair over there, he monitors that. because that's how you program it. So if you are not, your soul structure is not in harmony with the universe, he will put trial in your life, and during that trial he gonna allow Lucifer to tempt you. So when Lucifer tempt you, put in this difficulty and see how you're gonna react, because you have to go to difficulty for a spiritual growth. Spiritual growth don't happen but I'm sitting there, I'm eating, I'm having fun with the most beautiful wife, I'm having a limousine that will bring me out, I'm having a kiss, I'm drinking chocolates, I'm a star, I've arrived. It doesn't happen like that. I have $1 billion in my bank account, I've invested in mutual funds, I have a plentiful traditional IRA, I have a better and best retirement plan, I have a good life insurance if you're going to arrive there. The point is this: you don't get spiritual growth through that. Spiritual growth comes through suffering. It is one option, it's not two. So to the trial he's going to put you in, you're going to get tested. He's going to let Lucifer do his work. That's called temptation. He's going to let Lucifer tempt you now. Now, if you pass it and then your soul is in harmony with the universe, then you're going to start benefiting well from the blessing that is in your stars, as you put it. Because he controls it from there. The blessing comes from the heaven and go to those stars, and from those stars to you. 98% of men in the world are programmed like that by God. There are few people that they are not programmed like that. I mean, if the influence of the stars say that you'll be poor, you'll be poor. Whatever you do. If they say you'll be rich, you'll be rich. If they say you'll be about there, you'll be about there. End of the story. Whatever you do. Now, there are people that do not depend on that, but there are very few of them. They don't depend on the stars. For some reason, when they were born, God made this thing, he created a disturbance into the star in the galaxy in which they are born. In this galaxy is the sun, to disturb that process, so that the life depends straight into the heavens. And people like Adams was that. People like Moses was that. People like Noah was like that. And those kind of people, their life is very complex. Because no one knows what their life will be. Their life is very twisted. They don't depend on stars. They depend on the heavens, straightforward. And their life go a lot with difficulty. I think Moses was also one of them. Jesus was also one of them. That's the way God created him, created all of them. They are called beyonders. They are called celestial beings. That's what they call. Their life is very complicated and complex and full of difficulties, because they, for some reason, the spiritual soul created is in a very infinite plane, and depend, and many other structures depend on them, and they have to be controlled from a more higher power, so that there are no mistake. And because of it, they have to go to many trials because many other structures depend on them. And because many other structures depend on them, they're going to have a lot of difficulties. Because they are correlated with many other people and it doesn't sound well. In the spiritual realm. So the end has always been good for those who have followed the God work and who have maintained their life with true tenacity and truthful devotions into the patterns in which God wanted to go. We have to understand all those things. There are people like that, working like that. But 98% of people in the world depend on stars. Therefore, they can have astrologists as advisor for their life. But those who don't depend on stars, don't even waste your time with astrologists. Yes, your life is not mapped out. Those that their life is in a star, their life is mapped out. Because it is written there. But those that do not depend, don't even worry. Nothing. They'll come up with some stuff, but your situation will not change. You come from above. Above that. It is very complex. That's what people, and I'm calling to people today to find, to understand the spiritual realm. That's who God is. You will not pray and call into God and expect God to come and knock your door. Who's there? It is God. You call me. You pray, you call me. Please open the door. Please, if you think like that, please call 911 so that you can have some mental evaluations. Because it will never happen like that. It might happen, but it will be very rare. And there are many folks who think like that. That God will appear like a human being, will come and talk to them straightforward. He's a spiritual being. In order for him to take a form, human form, I don't know, you probably gonna have to be another Abraham. Which in this life that I see today, mostly not happening. The love that people have for car, for stuff, for iPhone, iPad, and all this stuff, thinking that they have high-minded intelligence that God who created everything. Yourself, your biological structure is powerful than the cell phone and apps and everything that you possess. You just don't know that. The creation. Sometimes I still like that. I just want to laugh, man. you are the most perfect biological technology, coded software that has never been created. You are above all those computers and software and iPad. You just have no clue. You are a program software, biological program software. So it will not happen. You're going to stay there and start. You have to be able, when you pray, put in your mind that he will come up in the form of a spirit. That's the default process. Default process. Even if Jesus Christ show up in the form of the spiritual realm, but you will never gonna see God right away like that. You have to start building your friendship with the Holy Spirit first, and then after the Holy Spirit, you be acquainted with Jesus Christ. And then after Jesus Christ, you be acquainted now with God. You have to go through that process. For Jew, they don't have to. They have the covenant with God. So they go straight to God through Abraham. So even them, they have to go through Abraham to do that. Abraham and Moses. For Islam, they have to go into the Prophet Muhammad to get there. Okay? To get to God. They have to go to that. They can just come up and say, no, I'm going straight into God. No, he's not. He's a very, very high being. He's a creator, simple but very divine and pure, and he have to be in contact with people who are like him. I can say alike. You don't gonna be like him, but alike the way he have predetermined proper existence. He's the one who can give you peace, complete healthy peace, give you healthy joy and healthy happiness. Because happiness is the state, the healthy state of your spirit, your emotion, and your physical aspect. That is the true definition of happiness and joy. Why do I say that? Because God have created angel with the faculty of protecting your spiritual structure, your emotional structure, as well as your physical structure. Because if he did that way, with all the intelligence he have, it means that's the only way man can find true happiness. There's no other way, trust me. Those angels that you see, their job is to provide you physical protection, emotional protection, and spiritual protection. It comes along with every other thing. If God have created that like that, it means that is where you can have your true happiness and joy and peace. Very simple. Because I have people that's just stubborn. I don't know what is wrong with them. Something is just wrong, people. I just don't comprehend. You have 18 angels that protect earth, 18 angels that protect the water, 18 angels that protect the air, and 18 angels that protect the fire, which are the energy that surround us in the entire earth. They are there in the air. They are people make accident. Only one person come alive. How did that happen? Those angels were there working. That person come alive because God said that was not his time. It's just the way it is. Yeah, it is their time. We have to do good because we don't know when we're going to cleanse it, man. You can cleanse it at any time. You can go out there and then you sleep, and the next time you know you're done. Or you go out, and then, but killing yourself is never been a solution. The people have problems. But if you give your life and then yourself into God, just by experimentation, just do it. You'll find that it's healthy, because in your experimentation and all idea and ideology that you can have, you will never gonna find a complete satisfaction or a complete solutions. Something will always be lacking. I have money now, so what do I have to do? You see what I mean? And then after I done everything I'm supposed to do, God always gonna leave you to go into the age of what you want to do, until you reach where you have nothing else to do. I have done this, I have done that, I have done this, I have done that, and then at the end, now I have to go into the moon. Now you go to the moon, now I want to go Mars. The next time you know, he's gonna start talking about he wanted to know where God lives. You be surprised there are people like that. Because they don't have any happiness. They want to find happiness. Those other people are finding happiness into drugs, into alcohol, other find happiness into sex, and they're still not satisfied. Those are momentary satisfaction that are actually destructive. Not only they kind of make you happy for a moment, but they destroy you as well. And then you come back into reality with that destruction. Very funny. I mean, you come back into reality with another problem. You add another problem into your problem, thinking that you have solved it. The only way is God. Despite your religion, despite your culture, whatever your ancestors have told you, it is an option God gave you. You don't die and you have your grandfather coming and tell you, now I have to bring you into heavens. That's where I live. The day you're going to see somebody tell you that, please don't return there. When you die, it's an angel you're going to see that will tell you where to go. First of all, he's going to introduce himself. I work for the Almighty High. My name is, and I work for the Almighty High. I came here to guide you where I was instructed to guide you by the Almighty High. That's what I'm going to tell you. Whatever religion you are, you from Hawaii, you from wherever, or Japan, or whatever village in Africa or in India, you're the same. Or either you're Muslim or Jew or Christian or Hindu or Buddhist or atheist, the same thing. You don't gonna see the kind of God you've been praying showing and say, yeah, you've been praying for me for too long. Now let's see where you're gonna go. Not it's gonna be like that. You're gonna be a guiding angel first that you're gonna see. And for the first time, if you have not seen him for long, and then you see a special angel, depending on what kind of work you have done for God on earth. He will be on your left hand side because superior angel. The guiding angel always going to be on your right hand side because he's there to serve you. Through humility, he takes his place as inferior to you. Just through humility, because he worked for God. And then the other one will be on the left. That's the one that is special sent. So most people don't even reach the heavens. If you go to hell, they just bring you to the gate of hell. Yes, that's it. You're not allowed to go anywhere. The universe is already programmed in a certain way that decision is made final. If it's hell, you go to hell, and then when you get there, one of the Lucifer angel will have the book, will look, open it, and look your name and say, okay, your name is here, you belong to me. Welcome into hell, and then he gonna direct. You might not even see Lucifer itself because he's also like a god over there. Very, you don't see him like that. You see his angel all over the place, like you see angel in heaven. So they already have a cage for you. They'll put you there. Put you there. This is cage. Open over there. And you go there, you see a lot of people that came there before you. You recognize some faces. I thought that you were in heaven. All right. Keep moving. That's all. And they'll put a 666 somewhere as an imprint that represent the Antichrist that will rise at the end. They prepare you for it. That's what it is. If you move into heaven, I say regardless of your religion, that's exactly what, regardless of your culture, that's exactly what's going to happen. Now, if you're moving into heaven, they'll guide you there. And if you were acquainted with Jesus Christ, he will receive you. If you are not, you go through the process of being educated on how to understand the Holy Trinity before you meet Jesus Christ. And then you meet God after that. So that's the way it goes. So for people who live their life thinking what I'm saying is just a joke, well, you tell me how many people who died who went in with their money in the casket. How many times do you speak about Michael Jackson anymore? How many times you see his name on the news? He's done. He become a statistic and memory. You respect his work. That's all. It is the same thing for every single one of us. That's what's going to happen. When you die, you become history. Forgotten. He have existed. And you move to another realm. If you can only think like that, maybe that will make your life, you're gonna think a little bit more better. Your music, they'll play it, maybe not. Your movie, they'll see it, maybe not. Done. Imagine that you end up in hell. It's called a complete failure. But if you end up in heaven, you'll be smiling and say, oh, I did my best. regardless your religion, your culture, wherever you live, or the far end of a village in Africa or India or Hawaii or wherever, or Guam or something. It is the same thing that you're going to see. Guardian angels with all of you, they're there. And you transit accordingly. You transit to the other side. You'll be able to see how people are mourning you, are crying. And you try to talk to them. You can't. You just gonna be there. They don't see you. You know the dimension. And the way that men made of everything that they always pray that, all right, God receiving into the heavens. They never say that may God receive him into the heaven, because they always believe that everybody go to heaven. The guy might be in hell and say, what the heck, I'm in hell, man, I'm not in heaven. And the angel said to him, they can't hear you. Sorry about that. Stop doing this celebration, man. It's too hard right here. I want no one to come here. They can't hear you, man. I'm sorry. There are many people who are experiencing stuff like that in hell as I'm speaking right now. They want to speak to you and say, please do good. I don't want no one to come in this place. But they can't do it. Please. They're just begging people. When you're there, you're thinking somebody is in heaven, is actually in hell, in a degree that you have no clue. And those that you think they are in hell, they end up in heaven. There's a story of that man. He died, and he came back to life. With God grant him some more years, and he was able to meet one of his cousin. She was on drugs and all that thing. He was very surprised. He asked a question to Jesus Christ. How come she's here? She did all the bad thing in her life. Well, how come she's here? And I see all the people over there that seem to be good that in hell. In my family, what happened? What is it? He was actually a pastor. Jesus Christ laughed. Jesus Christ said to him, you see, people present themselves what they are not, because they wanted to make people feel like comfortable around them, so that they can go through their agenda. What is the last time you have seen your cousin before you heard that she died? He said, about 2 years. Jesus Christ said, okay. Within those 2 years, she transformed her life into Christ. I see. She did. Within those 2 years, she became very religious. That's how she ended up here. He didn't have nothing else to say. It is still time for people out there who do live their life according to the material of this world. It is time for you to change and give your heart into the God who created you before it's too late. I am talking to you because I know the truth. You have to change the way of how we handle situations. We have to have more tolerance. We have to have more compassion. We have to have more inclusions and integration in our thoughts. Those things are the characteristic of the God who created everyone. And those things are the password to enter his kingdom. You don't have those things, you need to start questioning yourself if you're going to get there. Because there's no other way. If you have a dark heart, don't expect the heaven to say, we understand you. Forget about it. I see people who think so. They think that God gonna say, we understand you to have a dark heart. It is not a question. You have dark heart, you're evil. You belong to hell. End of the story. So let's start working together and start doing good around. Transform people's life. Accept people despite our differences and change this world. Without further ado, I would like to say I am open, and the way that the president of Cameroon have done in 2011, presenting me a fake news, try to test me. I understand his approach. I know he's after me, but I want to tell him that's something that I didn't say to his cousin in Washington D.C. He didn't say that to him, but in 2011 he attempted something like that. I want to say to him, I have no problem with you. I want you to make peace with me. I'm extending my hand into you. I forgive you for what you have done, and still forgiving you for what you've been doing. But I want to let you know that everything have his time. And I'm pretty sure you know that. I'm assured of it. Do not listen to the people around you. You came in this earth alone. You will leave this earth alone. God is the end. It's the beginning and the end. Take my hand. I'm giving my hand to you. If you want me to marry your niece, whatever it is that you want, you talk to me, and I'll see according to God's plan, as well as if it is possible. But those kind of games are not good. Try to see how the person is or test him or something like that. I'm a valuable person. I have potential, and I know what I want. So what I want is not to kill you like you wrote in those reports. I don't see any benefit of doing that. I believe it's even a waste of time. I didn't put you there. Who I am to say to you, get out of there. The person who put you there is the person who's going to take you out of there. End of the story. It's simple. I mean, my understanding to comprehend it, because that's the truth. So it is you to determine how he will do that, because I can assure you it will happen. I just don't know how. That's how it's going to depend on you. I am very open. I'm not looking for nothing, but I'm responding to your determined pursuit to undermine my existence. And I'm saying to you, I am willing to work with you. So I did what I was supposed to do as I was told by the Holy Spirit for this 2015. It's up to you. And that's it. Without further ado, I would like to bless everyone for for this year, to have a peaceful and prosperous New Year 15, and then to follow up with my YouTube. Very important informations that I'm being laying out here through efficient and effective illustrations. So you can get me on YouTube, you can get me on LinkedIn, my space, my space and my face, Facebook, I can say it, and you can also get me on Twitter, on Google Plus, and I report something like that, and you can shoot me an email. I can say it, not to kill me, but send me an email. That's what I meant, metaphoric way to say it. And then also you can contact me accordingly for progressive thing, and then we'll work thing out on how business have to be rolled for my consulting work that I'm bringing up. So that's it. That's what I'm talking about here. So it's up to you to do the right thing. It's up to you. For Mr. Harry Reid, the Senator Harry Reid, I'll pray for you. But this is what the Holy Spirit has told me. Do the right thing. You know what's going on with me. Do the right thing. That's what he said. That's all. And I'll pray for you as well. But he said to say to you, do the right thing. You know what's going on with me. Alright. So we see you again next week. God bless, and has already blessed. So bring up some new information as it comes. Thank you very much. Have a good muchacho, au revoir, and goodbye. I just feel myself very well, so I'm good. I'll see if I link my 7-Eleven. I think that was very exciting as well.